Welcome to Monkey and Frank. My name is Do. Today, I want to talk about my past to be able to bring you in so that the rest of my story makes sense. It starts with meeting my wife. In that time of my life, I was, for the first time, really grabbing courage. I had quit cannabis for I would say about a month or so. I was feeling great, and for the first time I was feeling courage, and I was on the path of wanting to go and asking girls number and just seeing if they would say yes or no, because I had never done that in my life. Growing up in a small village, I've always ended up with a girlfriend without really doing anything, like it just happened. But now I was older, 25 I believe. I had never asked a girl's number. I've always been too scared, and now I have this courage. I'm back from being a flight attendant. I feel like I've got spirituality and God. I was really into Catholic and Jesus, like I really felt like it made sense, to forgive, to love fully, to embrace, the weak and be there for others. So I had all this courage for the first time in my life, and things were going great. I could feel it. And then I see this beautiful girl working at Tim Hortons, and she's the only one that's smiling. Everybody else is miserable. They're old or whatever, but they don't want to be there. And this girl is having a time of her life, smiling and serving customer. And my routine was to go at Tim Hortons every morning before going to my job in construction. And she was so cute. I just wanted to ask her out. So the first time I go to the counter, I don't even get the courage. I look in her eyes and I say, "You have beautiful eyes." And then I kind of put the coffee in front of my face and I walk away. I became red as a tomato. So a week passes by and I go and I ask her number. Boom. Gives me a number. I'm happy as a clam. Go home, start dating her. And a week passes, or 2 week passes, and my aunt dies. And that aunt, I was close enough. I had grown up with her in a small village, and she was there, and she's always been one the open heart. And it was the first death in the family that was really close. In the family, really, like in my immediate family, like on my dad's side, on my mom's side. And yeah, and that was sad. Like, and my wife was there for me and gave me support, but that made me weak. I remember like how I I couldn't now give her up. Like there was an attachment which I've always had in my life, like the problem of letting go, right? And 2 week passes after that, and then my cousin dies. And my cousin Frank, Monkey and Frank was my soul brother. He was the other side of me. He was the side that would experience life to the fullest and always get in trouble, where I was this scared older cousin that would kind of rein him back, but I was always with him. Like whatever he did, I tried to follow as best as I could. But since a young age, we were together, like inseparable. If there was a family party, Frank. If high school, Frank. Like every time I would go out to with my friends, Frank would be there, and it would annoy my friends to no end. But there was no way around it. He was my brother. Seriously. So then that guy dies, and now I really get attached in a very unhealthy way to my wife, because she was there for me for both of these deaths, and both of these deaths were brand new. And my cousin's death was like, it broke all my spirituality, like all of it. God or whatever was it, no, fuck you, like nothing. And I felt so alone, so detached, so I had lost my rock. That's how I explained it to myself, to my friends. Like I had a rock in my life that no matter what I did, how much trouble I would get in, he was there, the rock. And same with me. And the beauty with this relationship was that when we were together, we were very quiet, but it was so enjoyable. We just smokes and smoke weed, ride, drive, listen to music, and just enjoy. And when I was on the up and up, for the last month or so where I had quit weed, my cousin too had quit, and he was on the up and up. Like, he was having a better relationship with his dad and his mom and my dad, because they simply just hated the fact that we smoked, right? So now I'm attached to this woman in a very unhealthy way, and I start kind of going back into this anger, into this frustration, into the weakness of my life. And we go years and years, and we stay together even though things are not like, we saw something in each other at the very beginning that, and I still see. And because of that, we stayed together, and it was unhealthy. So let's talk about the experience of MDMA. I get to a point where we're at our wits' end, and our friend suggests MDMA for the rehabilitation. We go in. Scared as I was, I wanted to try something. I wanted to try anything, because I knew that what was happening in the relationship was entirely my fault, and entirely for the fact that I had full of depression, anxiety, going into a hole, and not being able to communicate, being explosive, like all of it. So let's go and try MDMA. Take that medicine. And I don't know, like 30 minutes after, there's a panic that rose inside of me that, oh my God, I can't explain. It was such a big, it was really the feeling of panic. And my friend brought me outside, grabbed my hands, and he said, tell me what's going on. And I just did a diarrhea of words of everything that was going on. And by the end of it, it must have lasted a 45 minutes of me just diarrheaing words about what I was feeling. And they were only words. There was no tears or nothing. And by the end of it, there was no more fear, no more anger. All of that thing had gone from me. And the only thing I was feeling was connection, understanding, the wanting to be there for others. I couldn't let go of people's eyes. We were staring at each other's soul, me and my friend, when we went through this. And then he brought me inside and brought me to my wife, and we sat, and for the first time, I would say, we saw each other. I saw her. I don't know for her. She probably saw me a long time ago. For the first time, I saw her. And we shared our frustrations, our everything, but there was none of the feelings of frustration or anger or sadness. It was just a pure understanding of, even though I've heard your words a million times, now they mean so much to me, and I am so open to anything you are saying, because all I want to do is give you my heart, because it feels so open. And that was the first journey. It was incredible. We stayed up all night, and what a beautiful journey. We started doing that on the regular. Every 2 weeks we would do MDMA, and it had the same effect of removing the fear, where we could communicate with our soul. But more and more it was turning into, let's include music, let's include light, like kind of unhealthy way of doing it. But during that rise or that time of MDMA in my life, my wife's aunt got sick and was terminally ill with cancer, and she was very close to that aunt, so I wanted to give her a wedding and everything. So we got married, and the aunt was able to attend. So and then in the next year, we basically got married. And on our wedding day, I have to explain, it was the most beautiful day. We really had a super fun time. And at the end of the evening, at midnight, our small group of friends, we were 6, we went back to our place, did MDMA all night. It was incredible, and got up the next day, went to Vermont for a small, weekend honeymoon because we didn't have the money at the time. But what a beautiful, and in that moment of MDMA and the wedding, going to Vermont, I was really exploring the idea that I was a wizard. I was going in deep in I am a wizard because it was helping me as well with the death of my cousin. It was helping with my anxiety. My panic attack had disappeared. All of my symptoms were just gone from the first night we did MDMA. And then as we continued, they stayed off for a very long time. And after we got married and we did MDMA, we stopped doing MDMA after a while. It was really unhealthy, and we could all see it that we were getting really tired, and it was basically not for us. And over time, all of my feelings of frustration and anger came back slowly but surely, my anxiety and my panic attacks. And near the end, when I was close to having panic attacks, that's when I decided to go to Arcana Spiritual Center to do ayahuasca and start the journey that you guys have been listening to. So you guys have a little bit of a background of, where I was, how I got there, why psychedelics, why would I go to psychedelics for more healing? The MDMA was a big source, and what a beautiful medicine. So next I wanted to share about where we were. I did the big mushroom trip where it showed me how much I disliked myself and how much the body was not me. And my purpose was to be the awareness for it so that we could do the work of growing into what we're supposed to grow into. Just like a plant goes towards the light, I plan to just take trust, the love of mother, the love of everything, and go towards that light. And the feeling of mother was getting stronger and stronger. I was getting more and more in love with the idea of God is everything. God creates mother, which is this reality, but it's also like life. Mother is life, which is the disgustedness of it and the love, like where a mother would forgive her son no matter what kind of mother. And so God creates mother, and mother gives birth to God so that God can experience himself. So in this reality, mother is everything, and me, even though I'm God or in the image of God, I still have to look up and really put my faith into something greater so that that something can support me in turn. And I really enjoyed that idea of mother. And ayahuasca really, and even the mushroom now at this point really showed me how I am not this body. So I embraced it like there was no tomorrow. So a lot of my ceremonies with cannabis from that point would be to give me the strength, give me good posture, to be a warrior so that I can be more in presence to impress, well, not impress, but to do the work with mother. Things that I discovered during that time in my life was really surprising. Like the idea that I was always clenching my butthole all the time, and I was not even realizing it. And it took, now because I had this great awareness of the body, I could see that I was clenching, but it was easier said than done to not do it. And it was really a practice of letting go. And through the letting go of the body, I was noticing that my mind, yeah, I know, okay? And I was noticing through my mind that when I would go through the body, like doing the exercise of relaxing my anus so that it would, sorry for the word, it's such a weird word, I have shame. I I would have visions of like fears that would come up. And for example, like, you're going to shit your pants. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Just relax. Relax everything down there. Let's see. And if you shit your pants, you shit your pants, right? We'll figure it out. And I am talking to my body. I am talking to myself right now in the same fashion, which is, yo, you got this. And encouragement started to be a way of, just a way. If there was anything that was coming out of my consciousness to speak, it was positive. So the negative voice had fallen away. This, the purging of all the trauma through my cannabis ceremony and the mushroom ceremony, I feel like really showed me with my third eye connection, the breathing through the heart, that this entire illusion does not require thought to operate. Thoughts are a way to speak to your inner self, to speak outward. I see it kind of like doing spells almost. So if I felt like the internal monologue, if ever you do have internal monologue and it's always going and you're not really in control of it, it's kind of like a runaway train. They talk about it in Hinduism, in the Bhagavad Gita, about really, and the Tao as well, about having control over the mind. And my trick was to really fall in love with something greater, like Mother. So anyways, when I would go through my body, so one of them was my chest and my shoulder. I was very much caved in. And as I was opening up my chest and doing exercise with the rings or with weights or medicine ball or whatever it may be, more and more I was getting visions of, or processing, well, I would see visions of my past, of things that I disliked, and it would create a reaction inside of me of discomfort. And I would breathe through my heart, look at Mother, always have this positive voice in my mind, like that would be either saying stuff like, you got this, or Mother, give me the strength. And that journey alone, and that's a funny one too, because I've been rereading my book to record this podcast, is that day by day, I forget sometimes to go back to Mother, or I'm more distracted to watch television. So it's not like, it's not a practice. It's a practice that takes effort, that it's something that you really have to consciously do, just like practicing for work or hockey or whatever it may be. And Jordan Peterson talks about it in the way, and it makes a lot of sense, that it's not efficient for the body to be grateful or to think of something positive to do, because it does not reward the body for survival. You know, the body is programmed to always be on, to save its energy in case there's famine, to survive, and so it takes a lot of energy to be grateful. And it's amazing that I was starting to do a lot of it, and it was amazing because it was healing my body and my mind at the same time. So it was so illuminating. So at this time, I am going through a beautiful process of healing through the body and the mind, and I meet a group of friends that want to trip with me. And I didn't meet them yet, but I had been doing integration circles on my to integrate what I was going through, and it's something that I would recommend in your area or on meetups or whatever. If ever you do have experiences with the psychedelic, go to those integration circles and express your story and really let it out. That's what I'm doing right now, and it feels amazing. And you really get to integrate and practice and really drill in what you want to accomplish out of life with your spirituality, or it be whatever. So I go to that the cottage to have an experience with that group of friends, and I take LSD and cannabis, but I want to talk about that experience because it meant a lot to me in terms of finding love. The love monster. I want to talk about the love monster. So let me explain. I took acid, I took cannabis, and there was this soul sister there that I had just met, and she's all about love and God, and I was not used to that. But when I saw that uh, person, I took the LSD, somehow her love was contagious and just jumped into my heart. And there was this, like I said, like a heart opening that was so beautiful and so great and so surprising that for what happened inside of me is there is a love monster that got created somehow out of nowhere through her love, through her. I somehow I think she's the one that did this, but hey, it's meant to be. It might be. It is mother, obviously, because she's an illusion of me. But I get this love monster inside of me that no matter how I feel, no matter how much stress comes in, or if my warrior would come in, she was able to tame it and to really calm it down. And that love monster still exists inside of me. But of course, as I go through my journey, if there's ups and downs, it's a practice, like I was saying. Ah, I love you guys so much. I'm gonna stop it right here. It feels right. And thank you so much for listening. I love you with all my heart. And I tell you the truth, I have a lot of shame recording these things. And I wanted to share how much I'm uncomfortable, but go towards the uncomfortability. If you're doing something that you're not afraid of, it's not worth doing. Mike Tyson, all the way. All right, man. Monkey and Frank, I love you guys, and I'll see you later.